I would also like to point out one thing. One of our Elite Four members is unable to make it at this time. So, in place of this one Elite Four member, GORE will be going second instead of third. Just to make this clear.
Alright, so little story about GoreMagala. Many of you know him. For a little explanation for anybody who isn't fully aware of who GoreMagala is. He is, in the US, the top second player, period. He is one of the best Helixes anybody's ever seen, with very few people being able to rival him, or be able to even compete with them, as we've seen with such a strong start from GORE. JM, though, very strong, very indomitable, able to take GORE down to half health, which for a lot of people is a massive feat. Let's go back to the split here, as we are a little bit done with the introductions. And we've got GORE sticking with the double toasters, very well known for just the speed and pressure that he's capable of applying with it. Both players pop rush. Those two toasters generally have an advantage over most other rushes, just because they're far more of it. They're usually pretty heavy, and it's just so much pressure that most players will not be able to work around it. JM, though, getting a successful grab shortly after that rush, and being able to follow it up with some steady pressure from that Slamamander and Cracker, demonstrating that even with the nerf that Slamamander has recently sustained, it is still a very powerful weapon. Both players have their rush ready, and GORE manages to get over JM's rush and just pop his to wall out any other possible attempts and take the first set. Without a moment's hesitation, both players immediately leap back into the ring. Ready to take JM, ready to give everything he's got to take GoreMagala down, as GORE is ready to do everything possible to make sure that he is not triumphed over. I don't know. JM trying things a little differently, going with that roaster, maybe to give him a little more protection. But it's going to be a little more difficult for him to land blows on GORE, as it has a smaller hitbox, and it generally just doesn't work. Gloves generally do not work very well against a Helix. That rush, though, is very important, and it allows him to get a decent amount of damage in. And that's probably one of the big reasons why he swapped over to it. For those rushes, he is actually able to successfully land them and get some damage. Unfortunately, GORE pops his rush in response and just takes JM down. Switching back to the popper, but trying to get a little more of that range that the popper's capable of. Sticking with the slam, because it's clear that the slam is the one of the most important weapons that you could be going with in this turn battle. Let's watch a bit more from JM's side, because we all know how GORE is gonna work. He's gonna tower and he's gonna just throw wall after wall of fists. Let's watch a little more from the contender side and see what he's trying to deal with. We see here that he's really just waiting out, trying to find a good moment to kind of slip in there and get a shot in. Tries to do a slide, isn't able to get anything to work out of it, and ends up getting punished by getting his arms knocked down and then getting just smacked right in the face. Followed up by another toaster, and GORE is able to take the second set as well. Just to let everybody know that links are permitted in this channel. If you have made a clip, do share, do let us know. I'll look into it and I'll be sure to share it with the rest of the Colosseum community. GORE has one more round to go if he wants to just shut down JM entirely, but JM, he probably really wants to get into... Bleh. JM probably wants to continue into this and move on to the next contender and possibly become our first champion. Starts off smart by switching to the double Slamamander, recognizing that those are the weapons that are giving him the most fortune right now. That rush is going to be a lot harder to land. He's going to need to be very thoughtful. But overall, during the rest of this match, it's going to be very useful for him. The hitbox, the speed, it doesn't have as much power, but everything that those Slamamanders are capable of are so great and are very effective at countering a Helix and a lot of what Helix has. GORE though, changing up a little bit more, being a little more light on his feet, leaving the tower a little bit more, just making himself a little more of a harder target to hit. Even going for that rush, that may have been a little greedy there. And JM's safe to actually shield that and continue on. And actually has a bit of a lead here. With the rush ready, if he can just get a good shot in, he does, and he takes his first round off of GORE in this entire set. In this entire session, even. JM sticking with the double Slamamander. GORE sticking with the double Toaster. Both players know what works in this matchup and are going to use it to the best of their abilities. Able to even knock down the rush that GORE had, just because they come at such odd angles and the hitboxes they have are so unique that a lot of abilities struggle to deflect them properly, especially a rush. And it's hard to see where they're necessarily coming from, so oftentimes you might not be able to successfully get one to work for you. Or you might not be able to safely deflect one. GORE goes for another rush, but JM staying really safe, really swift, and playing very smartly is able to get around it and punish GORE for that rush. Both players now very low on health though. GORE able to take a last hit to JM, preventing him from claiming his first set. Both players have rush ready again. Both of them using them very frequently, being very aggressive and just very open to the opportunities and just trying to maximize. Even probably being more than happy just to settle for maybe some chip damage. Just any damage right now is good. The only way it's a problem is if you're too greedy and somebody else is able to capitalize on it, such as JM popping his rush a little bit sooner and getting that first hit on GORE before GORE was able to successfully pull anything off. Both players just about ready too for the rush once more. You would think, a lot of people might think that GORE would charge up a little bit more quickly. But while GORE is swinging many punches, it is JM who's connecting a vast majority of them. Both players getting the rush off at the same time once more, and this time instead of JM landing it, it's GORE who was able to pull it off. GORE takes the last hit and is able to claim his third set and closes JM's journey in the lead 4.
Great job. Like, really great job, JM and GORE. Holy cow. I would have to say JM had found a strategy that had really worked to his favor, but it may have been too late once he found it.